Hi, in this video I'm going to take you through our solar stats and our Tesla Powerwall stats for July 2019 from an installation in the UK. Stay tuned. Hi, John Tisbury here. If you're interested in solar, PV, Tesla, Powerwall, microgeneration, that kind of thing, click the subscribe button and the notification bell icon to be notified of new updates as and when I upload them. I also cover cinematography and photography on this channel, so a whole gambit. Anyway, as I said in the intro, I'm going to chat you through the solar stats for July 2019. If you've followed along before, you'll know the format. For those that are new, well, welcome. Just a bit of background. We're in the UK, we're based in the East Midlands, and we have a 4 kilowatt solar array, which was installed in September 2011. And we have a 3.8 kilowatt inverter installed at the same time. In December 2018, we had a Tesla Powerwall installed. And that's about it really. There's a few other things that have popped in July as well. There's another video on there, so I'll link that up there or up there. I never know where the cards come because I'm back to front on the camera, but you'll find it. And that talks about the Kona that's arrived, the eddi, the myenergi eddi, and the harvi, and all the other bits and bobs. So this one specifically is talking about the performance in July. We had a very poor June 2019 where we were. Our sort of peak month so far this year has been May. So we were hoping July would be better or as well as, but unfortunately not. So May still is our best month to date. So how did we do? In July we did a total generation of 487 kilowatt hours, which worked out on an average daily of 15.7 kilowatt hours, which was actually more than June, which was good because June was a horrendous month for us. We just pipped April, so surprising really. I would expect to have seen a bit more, but hey ho, we are where we are, as they say. So that was our average. As I say, it didn't beat May's, which was 533. I did beat June and just pipped April. So if you've got a similar setup, you'll obviously be able to compare like for like, as it were. If we scroll down to my next chart, which is the Tesla Powerwall contribution and solar contribution to self-power, it's always a bit of a mouthful. I track the percentage of how much solar was contributed to our self-power and how much the Tesla contributed to our self-power, if you have not been with us before. So in July, 46% of our self-power came from solar and 29% was from battery storage, which again was lower than previous months, which is really quite interesting. It was lower than June and lower than May and April, and only just beat March. So overall our self-power for the month was 76%, so not too great. No, it was 75% even less now. So that's that chart. So the next tab to look at is the Tesla in and out. So I record how much goes into the Tesla each month in terms of kilowatt hours and how much we pull out of it, and to work out its efficiency. In July, even though it wasn't used that much, it was actually really efficient. It was 93% efficiency. So we managed to pull out 93% of what we put in, which is almost the best month yet. Our best month was 94%. So it was interesting to see how efficient that was. So we put 199 kilowatt hours into the battery and pulled out 186 kilowatt hours. There you go, interesting. Well, I found it interesting. New chart. It's a new chart. This is the day by day for the month. For those regular tuner-inners, will know that we don't have the luxury of a web interface on our solar PV. It was installed so long ago before the internet. well, 2011, so there weren't at the time sort of apps and web interfaces and all those kind of things. You just had an inverter and a box on the wall and you read it every day, which is what I do and have been doing since then. So to come up to speed really and look at some of the stats that are available via the apps, I thought I would create this particular spreadsheet chart to be able to allow me to look at what's happening over the course of the month. So this chart, apart from being really colourful, looks at the house usage in kilowatts, so that's the blue bar. It also looks at how much solar was generated day by day, this is over the 31 days of July. It looks at what we exported and then also what we imported. Blue for the house usage, yellow for solar, obviously. Export is in orange, and red, danger, danger, is the import. Looking at the days, I'm not going to go through them sort of day by day. You can see a massive spike on the 10th of July. That was the first day we charged the Kona at home. There's a few days around there, actually, the 6th, the 8th, the 13th. They were Kona charge days. New toy, had to charge it, see how it worked. And as a result, we pulled in a lot from the grid. So the 10th was a bumper day for that. A high pull in from the grid, sort of 16.8 kilowatts, something like that, looking at the chart without clicking on the data value. I can't tell you exactly, but it's around that. It's between 60 and 70 anyway. Some of the other figures are interesting as well. There's quite a few days where we haven't pulled any import at all, or a very, very minuscule amount. So that's good to see. So it's nice to track it that way. So I shall be doing that chart on a regular basis going forwards. Our normal chart, which you're familiar with, those that tune in, is the average home usage from the grid. So we look at our monthly average of home usage and our monthly average from the grid. Unsurprisingly, in July that's popped up a bit because of the EV arriving. And in July we did an average of 20 kilowatt hours a day on average over the course of the month. And from the grid we pulled on average 7.8 kilowatts, so a lot more than what we would normally expected. Typically we'd run around 2 to 3 kilowatts over the previous month, so that's been sort of tracking down, as you can see, over the previous months, and a little bit spike up due to the arrival of the EV, hence all of the other choices I made in the other video I referenced to in terms of swapping energy supplier and all of those bits and bobs. More of that over there, so I'm not going to repeat myself here. So in terms of the monthly grid usage, this chart here looks at what we sent to the grid in the month. So in July we sent 51 kilowatts to the grid as opposed to 66 the previous month, and a whopping 154 in May when it was super hot. And from the grid this month, unsurprisingly, we pulled more in because of the EV charging. We've done 243 kilowatts from the grid, and comparing that against July where we did 77, or May where we did 86. So a bit of a jump there, but to be expected, so I'm not worried about that. Just working on making that more efficient with the swap to the cheaper Octopus Energy Go tariff. What else have we got? Loads of new tabs this month actually. I've now got another tab here which tracks the Kona charging at home. I'm not going to go through this in detail. So where I can, I have recorded exactly what we charge at home. So the state of charge when we start, what the range was left when we started, start of the charge, what time we started the charge, how much electricity was used and where it came from. Was it grid, was it solar, was it Powerwall, and the duration of the charge and how much of that was green, blah blah blah. I'm sure I won't be doing that ad infinitum, but it's just interesting to record those to begin with. Looking at the stats so far since the 1st of July, we have managed to, on average, we have used green electricity. Sort of 80% of our charge has been via excess solar, which is good, and obviously the other 22% is from the grid. And I can tell you how much there was from the grid actually, because I said I would use that. Oh yeah, 57. That's the big one. 103 kilowatts we've used so far to charge the car, which I could work out how much that is if I... Oh look, I have. That's it cost us 21 pence. Oh, sorry, 21 pounds even. 21 pence. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? 21 pounds to charge it up. We've also been tracking a new tab, tracking the eddi, so working out how often that comes in on its own and does solar. So it's all very sad, isn't it? But all these new toys, they're good to keep an eye on and to track, so you know what's what. And so far we've done a few manual boosts when the day has been very poor, no solar at all. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 manual boosts, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 excess solar. So it's charged purely from the sun, which is nice. It takes about an hour to charge our water from the sun, I've noticed. And it cuts off automatically when it gets to the maximum temperature reached, which is 60 degrees. It just cuts off and then pushes out to the grid if the car's not plugged in. Oh yeah, the other thing I'm doing is I'm looking at my smart meter readings. We've got a new smart meter fitted, as those know if they've watched the other video I referenced to. And I have a variance between what the Tesla Powerwall app says I'm using grid-wise, importing, and what the actual meter says I'm doing. So Tesla are looking into it, so I'll do another video on that when I know a little bit more. At the moment it's early days, so it's pointless doing one, but I'm basically tracking the difference, and it's quite significant, from 22% variance up to 3060% variance. So yeah, quite significant. So I'll report more on that later. That's it really. Yeah, that's all the stats for July. So okay, it was nice, good. A lot more variables now in the mix, as opposed to the previous months where the setup was fairly straightforward. We've now got the eddi, we've now got the car, the EV car, and we're swapping tariff and all of those kind of things. So it makes historic recording like for like a little bit difficult. So I now feel like a retail salesperson recording like for like sales for retail stores, taking into consideration all those variables. Anyway, hope that was useful. Drop your comments below on how you did with your own installation. It's always good to know how your figures were for July. And any comments or questions, then drop them down below. I'll pick them up in the comments section. Thanks for watching. If you found it interesting, remember to hit the old like button and subscribe, and I shall see you on the next one. All right, take care. Goodbye.